All right, what is up, everyone? It is the Osmo.com NHL Hit the Ice show. I'm here with Steve Homercleese Bauer to break down this 11-game slate.
Yeah, it depends what site you're looking at it from, right?
That's true. I think there's the three early ones are on FanDuel are a separate slate or something.
Yeah, and it's garbage. It's not even worth playing.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not playing on FanDuel today anyways, so it doesn't really matter for me, but 11 games on DK. The issue, though, is that they're running out these Saturday contests that they usually do. And it's obviously not Saturday, so bad enough they do that one day of the week. But, I mean, it's not like the thing, there's not other sports. Like, they could have easily had some big MME tournaments and stuff. But no, nothing really out of the ordinary, which kind of sucks. But
yeah, maybe they're just treating it like a holiday, expecting a lot of people are going to play.
Yeah, sure, that makes sense.
That $40 almost full. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too. A lot of people are off work or with family, and $40 is a reasonable. Like, just make it bigger. I don't know. It fills all the time on Saturdays too.
I wasn't planning to play, but it looks like I did pretty good on the early slate, so maybe I'll just lose those winning. Yeah, I think so. Right. Should be anyway. Maybe I'll just lose that. I'll lose those winnings on the late slate. Just donate them back.
I saw you in the $8. Yeah, I profited. It looks like, but I probably made like $100, which is I'll take that anytime on a 2-game slate. But
they haven't credited the shutout yet, but
okay, maybe then I made a little more. I had a lot of that Blackwood fellow, the greatest goalie of all time.
Everyone near me had him too, so it's not going to do anything.
Yeah, I see you right there. You're third. I'm
third. I got third, fifth, and seventh, I think.
Wow.
Oh, I did it on eighth there.
Yeah, you crushed it. You crushed it.
I just went heavy on Nashville and New Jersey 3.
Yeah, I basically just did a bunch of 4-3-1s, and then I did a couple 6-mans, and my winning lineup was, or my best lineup was, Nashville 1, Washington 2, who didn't really do anything with Blackwood, Vatanen, and Carlson. But anyways.
When you nail the goalie and the defense on a short slate, that's really all that matters.
Yeah, for sure.
Everyone's got every combo, right?
Yeah. How was your weekend? How have things been going in DFS for you?
Not too bad. It was a UFC heavy weekend with the big Jones fight on Saturday, which was a lot of fun. It was pretty exciting card overall, I think. But
nice.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a good time. But yeah, I mostly focused on that. Didn't really play any football or anything like that. But yeah, how about yourself?
Good.
You got into some football. You did. I saw you did well.
Yeah. I did pretty well in football. So finally, week 17, right when we're getting to tax season, of course. Yeah. I mean, you don't have to worry about taxes, right?
No, luckily
that's
not.
Nice. Yeah.
Well, that's why I do this job.
Yeah, that's perfect. So
yeah,
I'm sure I'm gonna have to give like whatever 30%.
You better go all in tonight then.
Honestly, yeah, I should be playing higher volume.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's been good. Things are starting to turn around a little bit in NHL. Went through quite a bit of a rough patch, but now I feel like I'm close. So
that's good. Yeah. I mean, it happens all the time, every year, right? Like, it's hockey, it's high variance. You're gonna go through bad stretches. I'm sure everybody has to deal with that. So for anybody out there that you're going through a little tough patch, you just got to stick it out.
Yeah.
Maybe be more cautious when you're losing, but otherwise it will get better.
Yeah, for sure. You just feel like you're the worst player ever when you lose a couple weeks straight.
It's amazing, the confidence swings, right?
yeah, for sure. Atlanta, Tampa Bay. Yeah, I had a bunch of those. I don't know. I'm not that good at NFL DFS, but I just know kind of how to construct lineups through watching streams like Manny's stream and the guys that we have at our site as well. So not too difficult, I think, over the long run. All right, 11 games. Do we want to talk about anything for ownership? Anything we should be worried about? Maybe Columbus, 4 goal implied total there. What do you think?
Seems like a pretty obvious spot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I imagine the top line would be quite popular. They're a great value too, so.
Yeah, that's the thing too. They didn't even price them up.
Yeah, they're just over 20K on DraftKings, so.
Nothing out of the ordinary. Maybe St. Louis. I don't know how chalky they're going to be, but you can fit them with or you can almost fit them with Columbus. I mean, you probably have to leave off one of the 6 forwards. But I don't know. Carolina, maybe as a filler. But it looks pretty spread out. Like, we've got super expensive Colorado 1. Dallas is split up, or at least they're listed that way. And then McDavid, I don't know if you saw the line mates. They had him.
I did. Wow. So McDavid solo then.
Yeah. So he's probably just, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to run that line. If it's Kara, maybe. But if it's Lucic,
hard pass.
I'll pass on that. So yeah, should be an interesting slate. A lot of the big names on this one. So let's just get it started here. We'll go with Pittsburgh and Minnesota, and I guess we should just note that the lock is an hour earlier than normal, so 6 Eastern instead of 7. So just be aware of that. You're gonna have an hour less time, but yeah, just be aware of that. 2.9 implied total for the Penguins, 3.2 for the Wild. Matt Murray, Devin Dubnyk expected to go. What do you think about this game overall, Steve? Any lines jumping out to you right away here?
Well, I'm liking that Crosby line. I'm seeing that we got Aston Reese up there now. It looks like what Daily Faceoff has there. So I guess Rust is hurt or something, or just I think he's injured.
Got hurt in the last game.
He's hurt, and I think Mata is also out. So so the Pittsburgh defense is a little thinner. I think looking at the Wild side, their depth defense is pretty thin too. When you have to play Matt Bartkowski, you're in trouble. So I'm thinking this game could have a lot of offense. I think it's a pretty solid target overall.
Yeah, I agree. I especially like Minnesota 1 here. I wrote them up earlier today. Just they continue to have great numbers. Like, they pass the eye test every time I watch them. And then I'm hoping they get matched up a lot against the Malkin Hornquist Dominic Simone line. I think that would be a pretty fun high event matchup both ways. It could be against Crosby. The Wild haven't really been doing anything clear with line matching. They've just been trying to get Stahl, Zucker, and Granlund away from the top opposing line for the most part. Yeah. But it depends like who they prefer. Like, do they want to go Coyle and Koivu against Malkin or Crosby? I don't know. But either way, I think Minnesota 1's my very clear target on the Minnesota side. And then I'm probably not going to have a bunch of Pittsburgh just because I'm only running 20 lineups. But for me, it would probably be that Malkin line if I had to choose one.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm leaning here as well. I think, Minnesota 1 is very clearly the best line on Minnesota, just the way they have it shaped out there. You can't really like anything else they got going on there. Yeah. The defense looked pretty good. They're good values, I think. Spurgeon and Suter and all that. I personally, like, in a vacuum, I like that Crosby, Gensel, Aston Reese line in a vacuum there. Sure. But if we think that the Malkin line is going to see a lot more of those shitty depth pairs, then I'd much rather take a shot on them. I think the third line's even in play too, the Brassard, Kessel, Pearson one. Reasonable price, and they're definitely going to go against the depth of Minnesota. So
that's a good call there. If you're looking for a filler, like if you're trying to jam in Colorado 1, I think they'll probably fit. But yeah, I kind of overlooked them. Maybe as a filler stack, if you're going really expensive, if you're going Columbus 1 with Seth Jones, that would be something to look at, because you make a good point about the Wild being super thin outside of their top pairing. You're not really worried about the Koivu line, I don't think. Coyle line is whatever, but whoever they go up against, hopefully the Stahl line could get some good matchups there for this Pittsburgh third line. So I like that call there. Anyone else on the defense? Any other defensemen here or goalies you like here?
Where are the goalies at? 73 and 78. Yeah, I'm more likely to go with Murray than Dubnyk, I think, in this one. Dubnyk's possible. I mean, he's a home favorite, right? Pretty cheap price tag, but I just don't think he's particularly played great. Murray's played much better. Minnesota with those line combos, I really think they're just a one-line team now, the way they have them set up. I'm not really worried about the depth there.
Okay. So I think Dubnyk's going to be somewhat chalky just because he's 7,300. He's somewhat of a name and a home favorite, so that's going to get some people's attention. I'm probably going to stick around the field or below it like 2 out of 20 lineups is where I've got him right now, and that's what I'm comfortable with. He hasn't played well at all. Like, he got pulled 2 starts ago. He had a nice start in Winnipeg the other day, but you still don't know if he's just going to bounce right back and be old Devin Dubnyk, or if he's just lacking confidence right now, or whatever's going on. So kind of agree with you there. And then I'm not really looking at Murray here. All right, Islanders and the Buffalo Sabres. 2.8 implied total for the Islanders, 3.1 for the Sabres. Robin Lehner and Carter Hutton in net here. I don't really have anything on this game. Will you, Steve?
Well, Eichel might be out tonight. He's a game-time decision. Luckily, it's the first game. Obviously, I love that line if he's playing. I think that's a really good spot against the Islanders. The other thing is Barzal's been on just absolute fire since Christmas. And while I normally don't like to play that line because the metrics don't really line up or do anything, I think it's a pretty good spot against Buffalo, especially if Eichel's out.
Sure. I think I mean, if Eichel's out, I would definitely say the Barzal line is in play. It was a weird thing with Eichel this morning. So he skated, like did his normal morning skate or whatever, and then they just announced afterwards that he was a game time decision, and I haven't heard anything else since. So I don't know. I don't really love Buffalo 1 anyways, so I'm kind of just writing this one off. But if he does get out, I might run everything again and see if I get any of this Islanders 2 line. So, or I guess whichever line you consider the Barzal line. And, that's really about it. Anything else you want to talk about here?
Potentially the goalies, especially if Eichel is out. I could see Lehner being a good value there. In GPPs, like worth a flyer if Eichel's out. Yeah,
same price as Dubnyk as well, so you're going to get lower ownership on him for sure.
Yeah, so he could be that. So, well, it makes sense to probably have more of the home favorite at 7,300 there in Dubnyk. I think Lehner makes for that interesting pivot in GPPs there.
Yeah, I like it. Any defensemen? Like, just looking at my exposures, what I have right now, it's Pulock. And that's about it. Just a couple sprinkles of Pulock and nothing else here. So,
I think that Ristolainen and Dahlin are always in play. That's again, it's going to be on Eichel. If Eichel's playing, I'll have interest in the Buffalo offense. But if he's out, then I'm not touching anyone on Buffalo.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, he carries so much of that offense. Where, I like where your head's at there.
And I don't hate Boychuk, 4,100 there. I don't hate him. I prefer Pulock, but I don't mind Boychuk.
Sure. Flyers and the Carolina Hurricanes. We have a 2.9 implied total for Philadelphia, 3.2 for Carolina. Carter Hart and Peter Mrazek, who is not confirmed just yet. Brock Nelson up on the top line with Aho and Teravainen. And same lines for Philadelphia, I believe. I kind of like Aho, Teravainen, McGinn a little bit as a value. McGinn just dead minimum salary if he's going to skate up there. I don't know if you saw anything confirming that he was going to be there, but that's what Daily Faceoff has had since yesterday when I first started looking at this. So what are you doing with this game, Steve?
Yeah, I think that line's pretty good. Aho is kind of generally their best sorts of multi-goal offense. He does have that 4-point kind of upside. He's been doing that up and down a lot lately. He's been playing a little bit better.
Yeah.
So if you're talking big 11-game slate, GPP upside, definitely the Aho Teravainen line there. If you just need a cheap filler stack, I don't mind that third line there, which Svechnikov, Wallmark, and Martinook. Just their underlying numbers are very, very strong, and Philly's depth isn't very good.
Yeah, they're one of the lines that also does fit with basically every other one. So just go with Colorado 1, the most expensive line. If you're going to include Landeskog, they fit with them, and their numbers are incredible. So that would be a line that I would also have some interest in just as a filler. We've seen them have success. Like, they've had a monster performance this year, and just so cheap. So, and going to get Philly depth, which...
Yeah, and the good thing is they don't, at that price, you don't really need much out of them, right?
For sure.
One goal is good enough, but 2 goals will be enough to win a GPP, I think.
Yeah.
If your expensive line that you pair them with goes off, as they should, then you're looking pretty good.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Anything on the Flyers side you're looking at here? Couturier line or maybe the Giroux line?
I think I'm more likely to go to the Giroux line. I think they have better offensive numbers, underlying numbers as far as shot attempts and scoring chances go. And Carolina, despite all the great fancy stats, they're just not getting the results, right? It's often goaltending and whatnot, and then failure to score. So lack of talent, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think if anyone's going to do anything, it's probably Giroux, JVR.
Okay. I kind of keep waiting for this Couturier line to do something, but we'll likely. What's that?
Their numbers aren't very good.
I know.
They don't generate anything.
It doesn't really make sense. I don't.
And their power play's been trash, and all three are on the power play, but their power play's been trash. So.
Yeah. So I don't think this is the slate for them, at least for me. So they're not going to make my 20. I don't think. It's going to be mostly Carolina first and that third line. If I'm going to anything here. Are we hopping on the Dougie train, or are you going with Falk still for 4,400?
The power play spot is pretty nice, I guess, for him, so that helps. Dougie, I noticed he had one decent enough game as far as a floor recently.
Yeah, still, nothing like last year.
No, not great, yeah. No, he's not. He's still not worth playing until he kind of turns it up. And being the most expensive on Carolina, you can get a similar floor from any of their other defensemen.
Yeah, and just the minutes have gone down too. He saw 15 minutes 3 games ago, 17 2 games ago.
He got bumped down to the third pairing.
Yeah, so he's not really playable even for 4,600. I don't think. It's not like Carolina has an elite power play, anyways. So
no, it's
going to be pretty much just Falk for me here. Interested in Hart at all? You said that Carolina struggles finishing, of course.
Yeah, I mean, goalies against Carolina are always in play for GPPs because they're going to see the volume, right?
Yeah, I love it.
So I think they're kind of Carolina's always a really good GPP option for and against. You can take some chances because they're going to get the volume.
Yeah. I just wanted to kind of tee you up there. I like Hart as well. So if you're going with one of these Philadelphia lines, you could easily see another 35-40 shot outing from Carolina with 1 goal, and that's huge. Goalies against them have broken the slate seemingly all the time over the last couple of years, so I like that.
Yeah, and no interest in the Carolina goalies, none at all.
Yeah.
I definitely think Hart is worth it in GPPs. He's a decent pivot too. Another decent pivot to what's his face, Dubnyk there.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Let's do the Rangers and the St. Louis Blues. We've got just a 5.5 or 5.6 implied total here. Henrik Lundqvist, Jake Allen, 2.5 implied total for the Rangers, 3.1 for the Blues. Hearing some rumblings about this St. Louis 1 line in our chat, I'm assuming they're going to be pretty popular. So what do we do with St. Louis 1 here for just 16.7 on DraftKings?
Yeah, it's a really good price. They're a strong value. I don't see them being super popular. It's a pretty big slate, a lot of good spots. You can't really fit them with the other, they're not quite cheap enough to fit with the Columbus ones without punting defense, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I like them. It's a good spot. I would probably just play. I don't know if I'd try the second line at all or have any exposure to the second line on the Blues. It'd pretty much just be the top line for me.
Okay. Yeah, that's really the only one I'm looking at in this game overall. Really low implied total for the Rangers. The Blues aren't my favorite team to target when they're at home. Big slate. Not really in love with Jesper Fast on that top line, even though I know he's coming off a big game, I believe in his last one. And then the Hayes, Zuccarello, Nemestikov line doesn't really do a ton for me either. So it's just going to be St. Louis 1 for me here. And Pietrangelo for 4,900, just way too cheap. Has that power play 1 tag and just correlates so nicely to St. Louis 1. So that's going to be the way that most people's 4-mans go, and mine's going to be no different. So
I think that's smart. I think the power plays for both teams would be the way to go as well. Yeah, and so having all of that top line for the Blues on the power play is really good.
Yeah.
I didn't check over I didn't see how the last couple games worked out, but I know that the Blues and Rangers were both taking a lot of penalties recently, and their penalty kills hadn't been great.
Okay. Nice. Let's see. Just landed in Chicago for second place in the $8 update. Anyone else going to the game tomorrow? Oh, Matt, you're going to the is it the Winter Classic tomorrow? That's sweet.
Hopefully the weather holds up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's snowing here. I don't know what it's going to be like is it Indiana? Is it at Notre Dame's like football field? I can't remember where they're playing this game at.
It's in Notre Dame, yeah.
Notre Dame. Okay. Yeah, so hopefully no big snowstorms or anything like that. What would they do if that happened? Do you know?
They've played through snow before. They've also delayed the start time at times. So they could do any of the above. It's just I think he can handle snow pretty easily. You just don't want to get rain.
Yeah. There was rain in one of was it a California game or Colorado or something?
Possibly, yeah.
A couple years ago.
I know Toronto, Detroit, the one they had last year, 2 years ago, was snowing like crazy. And they still played through it. So snow is not a big deal.
Okay.
They can
I guess you could just shovel through it.
They take breaks. The TV timeouts, they'll shovel the ice.
Yeah.
Stuff, so.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see. We got anything else we want to talk about in Rangers Blues here?
Not really.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really have much. Jake Allen up to 7,800. You don't see him he's not priced like a cheap home favorite anymore. So you're getting quite a big bump in price here. So kind of takes me off of him a little bit in that I don't want to just jam him in because he's a cheap home favorite anymore.
Yeah, I think he's fine, but he's not like a target, I would say.
Yep. All right. Ottawa and Columbus, 2.7 implied total for the Senators, 3.8 for the Blue Jackets. I think it might be even a little bit higher than that now. Marcus Hogberg going up against Sergei Bobrovsky, and likely the most popular line of the night, Columbus 1. How good of a play are they actually, Steve?
I mean, it's the best possible spot. You're taking on some random goalie who I've never even heard of before this. So, and then it's the Senators in front of them. So I don't know. It's just pretty heavy on Columbus here.
Yeah, couldn't be a better spot here for Columbus. Columbus's top line. There's really nothing bad to say about them. Yeah. I guess the question is if you're going to another Columbus line for leverage or just for another cheap spot against a terrible defense, which line would you be choosing between the second and the third here?
It would be the Anderson line, the second line.
Anderson. Yeah, he's kind of the guy you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He's the driver there. Yeah. I noticed Jenner plays pretty poorly without him.
Yeah. And they've got Duclair on that line. It looks like so pretty offensively talented outside of Wenberg there, who's more of the distributor. No interest in STL1. Yeah, Nihas. I like STL1 a lot.
Yeah, we just talked about him a bunch.
Yeah, you missed it. So go back and watch that. We like St. Louis 1 a bunch. You got anything on the Ottawa side you want to look at here? They switched up the lines. They've got White with Duchesne and Bobby Ryan, and now Chris Tierney centering Stone and Tkachuk. Does that change anything for you?
Yeah, I really like the Tierney line now with him moving up. I haven't looked at the numbers too closely, but I remember them being very, very solid with Tierney over White.
Yeah.
So from a possession standpoint, so I really do like that line. Okay.
Yeah, they were basically interchangeable for me as well. So I think you're on to something there. That would be the Ottawa line I'm going to. And this one, it just seems pretty simple, right? You play Columbus if you're multi-entering. If you're single entering, would you be on Columbus 1? Would you be full stacking them if you just were making one lineup tonight?
I mean, it's hockey and anyone can fail at any time. So they could easily be outscored by another line. You don't have to go there, but that's immediately where my eye was drawn.
Okay.
So
yeah, it's tough to get away from them just over 20K. Yeah. And you've also got really good defensemen to pair with them too. So you've got Seth Jones and Werenski both on the top unit. Full power play correlation. Ottawa is just the worst team on the road in basically every metric you look at. Scoring chances, high danger chances, all that stuff. They can't limit shots to save their life. So, yeah, it's just going to be all Columbus, specifically that top line, and then maybe a little bit of Ottawa 1 here, the Tierney, Tkachuk, Stone line. Do you prefer Lejoie, or are you looking at DeMello or Cody Ceci, any of these cheap Senators defensemen?
Probably Lejoie with, I would guess looks like he's got power play 1. So, I'd immediately go there.
That's basically all I have as well. And then I like Bobrovsky a little bit for 8,100. I don't know if this is a fish play, but just big home favorite. You know, he's a good goalie. Maybe he hasn't been the same this year as years past if you just go by save percentage or whatever. But I just really expect Columbus to win this game, and 8,100 is I think, pretty fair price here. So I ended up on some of him.
He was heating up pretty good before the Christmas break. He was the player of the week. Had, 2 shutouts that week? 4 win, really? 4-0. Yeah, so he was turning it back up, but then he got the Leafs on the second half of a back-to-back after the break. And didn't have the best. Yeah, I mean, it's Toronto and you're on a back-to-back, so you're kind of screwed there. But I don't know. I think he's generally playing better.
Okay. Good to hear. Any other Columbus defensemen you want to talk about? Murray, that power play 2 tag. Someone added you in the premium Slack today, telling me your boy was on the second power play. You like him at all?
Yeah, I mean, why not? I like everyone on Columbus, really. It's just such a good matchup. 4,200. I mean, obviously, I'd rather go to Werenski at 4,600. It's only a small upgrade there. Maybe it's a little different on FanDuel. I mean, I didn't really check the prices there.
I was also looking to see if you could punt with any of these, like Nudavara or Harrington or Savard. But I guess Nudavara would be my favorite of those 3. But I'm just looking for any exposure kind of against Ottawa.
Yeah, of course. So on FanDuel, it's quite a big gap between Werenski and Murray. Murray's only 3,700, so he's near min price there. So I think he's a much better play on FanDuel than DraftKings there tonight.
Okay. Cool. All right. It looks like Nolan's article is out as well. So if we need to refer to anything, I'll try to pull it up. I'll link that in chat as well. We'll go on to the next game. Panthers and the Red Wings. Roberto Luongo against Jimmy Howard. 3.2 implied total for the Panthers. 2.9 for the Red Wings. We've got Athanasiou with Larkin and Abdelkader on the top line. Nyquist down with Nielsen and Vanek. So they've broken up our dynamic duo of Larkin and Nyquist. But are you targeting anything in this game right off the bat, Steve?
Yeah, I don't know with those Detroit lines there. Obviously, I want to play Larkin when I'm playing Detroit.
Yep.
And I like that he's with, like, Athanasiou was solid too. It would be really good if they had Nyquist instead of Abdelkader up there.
Oh,
that would be
amazing.
Yeah, that'd be a dream. But given the way they split them up, I don't know. I'll probably sprinkle both.
Okay.
I guess. But yeah, I do like I like both sides of this game here.
Okay.
Obviously, Florida is obviously really good value. Their power play is solid, and Detroit's a really bad penalty kill. So.
And they take a bunch of penalties too.
Yeah, super appealing for Florida. They're the obvious spot. Yeah, the top line for Florida for sure.
Yeah, I thought I was gonna get to more Florida when I was first starting to build my crunches, and I didn't really. I always get to Larkin, and just having such cheap line mates and Athanasiou being a decent value for me, I got to a bunch of Detroit 1. So I think that's where I'm gonna end up. I don't think I'm gonna make any big changes here. And I'm just hoping they don't spend all their time against Barkov, because like you always mention, you don't want like you would rather, or what do you say, path of
least resistance.
Yeah. Least resistance. There you go.
Yeah.
So you'd rather not face Barkov, despite what the numbers say. Just that line's just way better than any other Florida line. So
yeah.
Do you know or have an inkling how they're going to match here?
Well, not really now. They split the lines up even more. So
okay.
Not sure. I would assume Larkin plays the shutdown role, but I think they could use Nielsen like that too. The thing is, he's with Vanek, so usually you want to keep Vanek away from a shutdown role.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing they probably play 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2, something like that.
Okay.
Or just don't match at all.
Yeah. Hopefully there's just no match, and Larkin can just do his thing. But that's where I'll be at for this one, and maybe Chalowski as a 4-man stack with one of the top 2 Detroit lines. Yandel, obviously the guy if you're going to Florida 1. Did you mention anything about the depth lines on Florida here? Do you like the Bjorkstrom line?
Yeah, I think they're fine. I mean, especially you're probably going to go up against Vanek, right? Or anyone on their third line. Yeah. So I think they're in play.
Okay.
I wouldn't call them a favorite though.
Got it. Anything else you want to talk about here? Hronek for 3K. He's another one that's popping a little bit as a value for me. And Osmo, value grade.
I do like him for sure.
All right, same page there. And then goalies, Luongo and Howard, assuming they go for their teams here. 7,600 for Jimmy Howard at home. Pique your interest at all?
I think they're both fine options. Like, I think this game could be super high scoring or it could be really low scoring. Like, there's a pretty wide range of outcomes here. So I'll probably sprinkle a little bit of both goalies.
Okay. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of Howard here as a correlation play. I'm trying to correlate as much as possible tonight, playing limited lineups. So just want that
makes
win.
sense. That makes sense.
Okay. All right, let's go to a hopefully one-sided affair here. We've got the LA Kings and the Colorado Avalanche. 2.5 implied total for the Kings, 3.1 for the Colorado Avalanche. Jonathan Quick, Semyon Varlamov expected to go for their teams. It looks like Tyson Jost is with McKinnon and Rantanen. Is that what you're seeing as well?
That's what I'm seeing on Daily Faceoff. I haven't been paying attention to Twitter, though.
Yeah, I don't know if I saw that confirmed.
I thought I saw people floating that around somewhere. They were linking I think they were linking some articles in Slack.
Okay.
Some tweets in Slack.
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
So in Nolan's article, he says Tyson Jost gets a shot on Colorado.
Oh, there we go. The very first thing I see when I click on the on Vought's Twitter list there, in the Colorado section, Tyson Jost will replace Gabriel Landeskog on the top line. I
mean, you think that's going to stick?
I mean, they're looking for answers right now, so I think for now, I expect them to start the game that way. I don't know how long. I don't know what the guy's going to do, Bender's going to do, so just have to wait and see. But
he's min salary skating with McKinnon and Rantanen.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
And gets power play 2-time. Not that that matters at all, really, but just a nice tag there. I don't know. I mean, if I'm going to Colorado tonight, it's probably just McKinnon, Rantanen, Landeskog. And I'm just going to go like that because I would think they're going to end up together at some point, and that trio is going to be really under-owned. They're super high-priced, and I would go with a super cheap filler line like the Carolina 3 line we were talking about or someone like that, and hope they get reunited. So I don't know. How are you treating this situation here?
Well, I'm taking advantage of Yost being min-price. So
okay.
I think I mean, what do you have to lose? So what if he doesn't even play with them? He's min-priced. Maybe if he plays a minute with them, it's still worth it.
That might be, yeah. I mean, God, min-priced is crazy.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. You can definitely I'm still going to make some Landeskog lineups because they play together on the power play, and that's usually their best weapon. You could also do Landeskog and Comfer there. There's a mini two-man.
You could definitely do that. I don't know. God. Maybe I'm just overthinking it here. But,
probably.
Yeah, they're so expensive when you stack them all together, the big three.
Yeah.
So maybe you're right. Maybe you just play Jost with McKinnon.
I would do that in maybe like 1 or 2 lineups out of your 20.
Okay.
But I wouldn't, maybe have one of each combo.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Just cover both sides just in case.
Yeah, it is a pretty good power play spot too, if I remember correctly. So, Colorado does have a great unit, especially that top power play unit that they just ride. And then I believe the Kings have been committing a bunch more penalties as of late. So, and just 74.3% kill for the season. Do you have anything else in this game outside of the Colorado top 6?
I don't know if I'd go to any of the LA goalies, to be honest.
I can't.
Those are nice prices, but yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think there's a chance. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about LA though, because Colorado hasn't been great defensively lately. Their penalty kill's been really bad too. I don't mind Doughty there at 4,800. He's been better. His floor's been increasing a lot lately. His shots and blocks. He always has high minutes.
Nolan was asking in chat about Jeff Carter. Like, what do you know what the deal is with him? He played last game on Saturday, but they're not listing him on Daily Faceoff. Or the beat writers aren't talking.
The last update was December 27th on Daily Faceoff.
So
that's important to look at for anyone looking at that stuff anyway.
Sure. So maybe not these same lines. Like, I'm sure the Kopitar line is going to stick together.
I would just assume they're using the same lines as last game.
Okay.
Unless you hear differently.
Yeah. Yep. So I was looking in Colorado, like over any team's last 10 games was giving up the most high danger chances against. But I just can't get to any of these Kings lines. I don't know. Kopitar's super cheap, but I'm not playing cash games, so it's just I don't think they're on the table for me, the Kings here.
I like some 3-man stacks here, whether it's Brown, Kopitar, Doughty, or Carter, Toffoli, Doughty there. That way you get some even strength correlation and power play correlation there.
Yeah, and at least you're playing the best players. So if they do pop off for a couple goals here, you're probably getting in on them somehow.
Yeah, and then I think I remember them saying something about Colorado's penalty kill, as bad as it's been even worse at home.
Okay.
Rather than the road. So, I mean, that's usually just noise, home road splits and all that, but for whatever reason that's happening. Just in general, their penalty kill has been terrible. So, I'll take some shots on the Kings as bad as their offense is in general. I'll definitely take a few shots.
Tyson Barrie, if you're stacking either of the top 2 Colorado lines, correct?
Yeah, I think that makes sense just because of their power play there.
Yeah. All right, and then we've got, you mentioned you don't know if you can get to Quick or whoever goes for the Kings. What about Varlamov for 83?
Probably not, but I think that I'd rather just go Bobrovsky at 8,100 there.
Took the words out of my mouth. All right.
And then Vasilevsky and GPPs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of Vasilevsky, we've got the Lightning and the Ducks. 3.3 implied total for Tampa, 2.8 for the Ducks. Vasilevsky versus likely John Gibson for the Ducks. Alex Killorn on the Stamkos line with Palat, and then they're going to keep together the quote-unquote Tampa 2 line, Point, Johnson, and Kucherov, the one that everyone loves to play, including us. What do you see in this one overall, and which side do you like, more importantly?
All in Tampa.
All in Tampa. Okay.
Yeah. Every single line is good. The point line is obviously my favorite. Those guys have Kucherov's been on a tear. He's awesome. I want to play whoever's playing with Kucherov. That's pretty much it. Their power play is a phenomenal spot against the Ducks. Their penalty kill's been brutal, taking a lot of penalties, all that jazz. I think the third line is a good cheap option, again, with the Carolina 3, if you want to jam some expensive guys. Probably Tampa 1 is my least favorite line, but I still think they're fine.
Yeah. I rarely ever get to Tampa, and that's probably not a good thing, especially lately when Kucherov has been going off, and this point Kucherov Johnson line has been amazing. Tonight I'm getting to a lot of the Getzlaf, Aberg, and Kasha line, and that line is going to be really bad defensively. They have a decent sample of being bad defensively. I don't know how good the Henrique Ritchie Sprong line is going to be defensively either. We know the Kessler line has been getting crushed for most of the season, even though they've been quite a bit better as of late. I don't know how the Ducks are going to match, but I like a little bit of the value that I'm seeing on the Ducks side. And if I'm going to Tampa, it's that top power play or just point Kucherov and Johnson and just calling it good there. So
yeah, I think that's good. I do have some interest in the Ducks. I mean, Tampa Bay, for as much as they've been scoring lately, they've been giving up a lot of goals lately too. Well, giving up a decent amount of shots over the last little bit as well. So I think that's a fine play there. As I said, like with Vasilevsky, he is GPP only at that price. I wouldn't touch him in cash games just based on recent performance there.
Yeah.
So
8,200, pretty expensive for being on the road here.
I mean, obviously he's one of the best goalies in the league. He has a ton of upside all the time, so he's always in play there. And I think he'll probably go overlooked tonight as an option.
Are you targeting a specific line of the Ducks or just kind of evening it
Just
out?
the top line.
Just the top line. Okay. And then we've got some defensemen on both sides we should talk about. Montour, Lindholm, Hedman, McDonough looks like he's back on the second power play with no JT Miller. Does that change anything for you? Which defenseman do you like here?
I like Montour and Hedman.
All right, power play 1 quarterbacks. Yep. Pretty simple there. And then Gibson for 7K.
What do you think? I mean, he always has that huge upside, right?
Yeah.
he gets peppered, and he's capable of those 50 save performances. So he's always in play.
Yep, he's going to hit the caps for me. It's really scary, but he is one of the best goalies in the NHL. He's at home, and he's going to get a ton of shots on net. So if the Ducks can somehow stay out of the penalty box, then we could be in for a huge Gibson performance at 7K. So really interested in that.
I could see myself going to him in maybe like 3 out of 20.
Okay, yeah, that's
reasonably.
Yeah, 3 or 4. That's where I'm sitting right now. And
I wouldn't go much more than that. That's a pretty big risk against Tampa Bay. Obviously, the best offense in the league.
Yep. Yep. All right. You good to move on?
Yep.
Montreal and Dallas. 2.8 implied total for the Canadiens. 3.2 for the Stars. Antti Niemi, Ben Bishop in net. Sagan, Ben, and Gurianov is listed as the top line. They ended up with Radulov in the last game, as you could have predicted. That's probably going to happen again tonight. What do you like in this game, Steve?
Dallas, I don't know how many times we can talk about Dallas. It's being good plays and then they'll not come through. It's pretty standard stuff here.
Like clockwork.
Yeah, exactly. Just like Dallas, I don't know. Like they obviously have talent, but I don't know how many times you can keep going back to them. Light exposure, maybe they turn it around at some point. Yeah. In general, I think I'm more likely to try out some Montreal here, but I don't feel great about it, to be honest. I think Bishop makes for a decent enough play.
Yeah. If I'm going to Dallas here, and I probably am, I haven't figured out if I'm going to include them in my 20. But if I am, kind of like what I was saying with Colorado, but I think it's more logical to do it here, is just go Sagan, Ben, and Radulov, because they basically always end up together. Mm-hmm. You can check any game log or singular game on Natural Stat Trick when they're supposedly split, and every time, whether it's Sagan, whether it's Ben or Radulov not on the line with Sagan, they always get moved up. So I'm just going to make that manual adjustment on Fantasy Cruncher, and then they come up as a really solid value for me for being so expensive, or point per dollar play, I should say, not value because they're not cheap. Mm-hmm. But hopefully they see a bunch of time against Domi, Drouin, and Byron, and I think that would be a decent matchup for them. If you don't want to go there, I don't blame you. There are a bunch of other spots tonight, but I'm just trusting the numbers. I'm playing the real Dallas one and hoping I can finally make my money back on them at some point, because they've buried me all season.
Yeah, I know. I've been guilty of getting on them too, but I don't know what's going on, honestly, with them. Not sure. But how big of a fucking joke was that CEO coming out?
Yeah, was it calling the CEO? Out?
Yeah, I believe it was the CEO. Some guy no one's ever heard of. Guy's a complete joke. I don't know. I don't really have too much to say, but other than what a loser.
What's the upside of doing that on record? It's one thing to be frustrated behind closed doors, but.
Well, especially because he never once said anything to them in person. That's the most gutless thing you could ever do.
Why? Yeah.
So gutless.
I just don't. Yeah. Well, that's a conversation for another day.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Honestly.
Who knows? Who knows what that does? Like I was saying on Saturday or whatever day that came out. Maybe you can make the argument that that's going to make them fired up and want to play and
But not when it's so obvious. It's everyone does the classic reverse jinx sort of thing.
Yeah.
When it doesn't work when it's super obvious.
Right, and it didn't work. So
no, not when you specifically call up the reporters and tell them that shit. Yeah. If it just came out as venting in the course of a normal interview, then sure. But that's way out of line there. Yeah, as much as it's all true, they've been dog shit or horse shit or whatever he said, literally. They've been really bad, so. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with them. They've always been kind of mental that way, those two players, hot or cold. So yeah.
They do create a lot of chances, though. So it may be bad, but they're still doing their part, getting close to scoring goals at least. So hoping the positive regression comes at some point, and I'll gladly take some Dallas 1 money back.
Well, they're against Montreal. Niemi is garbage. Mm-hmm. So that's a good spot. Montreal in general, I don't think is that bad.
No, they're not. I would agree.
But yeah, it's just for the goalie. I think that'd be the only reason to pick on them tonight.
And they are committing a bunch of penalties, 5th most time shorthanded in December, and under 73% kill in December for the Canadiens. So maybe some power play upside. Maybe you get that bad Dallas power play started a little bit here.
Yeah.
Klingberg is the only guy for me, 5,600. I'm pretty much staying away from Montreal all over the place.
What did I see? There was a couple guys coming in. Oh, no. I'm wondering about Carrick or Honka. It's just punts coming into the lineup.
Carrick's 3,200, man.
Yeah, he's more expensive than I thought he would be.
I actually have a little bit of Polak for 2,600.
Dude, never, man.
Yeah, he's not good at all.
Don't. There's better punts than him.
For 26?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I can find a mid-price defenseman and that's better than him.
Maybe he blocks a couple shots. That's basically the upside.
I'd rather just go 2,900 to Honka there.
Yeah. You think he's gonna play enough minutes?
I mean,
he's 29.
In smaller minutes, he's gonna do more than Polak. And if Polak played the entire game and Honka played 10 minutes, he's still gonna do better than Polak. Watch out for the Polak trick.
Yeah. Here comes the goal assist game.
Get your shares in.
Yeah. Anything else? Anyone else you want to rip on here?
Nah, I think we're good. I think we talked enough about this game. I think it's not the best game, to be honest.
Sharks and Flames. We've got a 2.8 implied total for the Sharks, 3.3 for the Flames. Aaron Dell, David Rittich in net. Calgary 1 at home is always going to be in play. We've got the same weird lines going for the Sharks. Does anything stick out to you on these Sharks lines? Maybe that Hurdle, Kane, LeBanc line, or where are you going in this game overall?
Yeah, I forgot to check their numbers recently.
They're good still, I believe.
Yeah, because I remember I played them the very first game they were put together, and the beat writers were saying that the second line was doing great, the Thornton line was looking really good, and that third line was absolute trash, and then Hurdle got an empty netter or something. Okay. But maybe they played another game since then. I didn't really follow that. But,
it looks like they played 2 games together.
Yeah, so maybe they had a better second game there.
Super high event.
Yeah. So, I mean, in general, just the first time we saw that line, I was very interested in them. So that's pretty good. But to be honest, I really like Calgary tonight.
Which line? Both lines?
The top line I love, and the second line's probably pretty good too. I think James Neal has a bit of value as long as he's on that second line.
Is it just an ownership thing with the top line, or
no? They're just awesome, and the Sharks give up enough defensively, so
that is fair.
They play high enough event.
They are really awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just such a solid line.
Yeah, that's
and they're
true.
At home. Yeah.
So I just had I think 1 or 2 Calgary lineups, but there's just so many spots tonight. It's hard to play.
Well, I like them better than Colorado. I like them better than Dallas. They're pretty close to Columbus for me, but they're a bit more expensive. So
wow,
that's the thing.
That might be a hot take. So
really, that line's been tremendous.
Oh, for sure. But I wasn't even really looking at them that hard. But now that you're saying that you love them this much, I get it makes sense. They're going to be half the ownership maybe of Columbus 1, and they're similar lines. Calgary 1 has better numbers. They're going to get probably a little bit worse of a even strength matchup. The Sharks are obviously a much better team, but still not great defensively. So
well, I feel like the second and third line there for the Sharks have been giving up a decent amount of high danger chances. So I think that's a pretty reasonable spot for them. And then obviously their power play is just very, very strong. I don't think the Sharks have a bad penalty kill, but also likely Martin Jones in net, and that guy can suck.
Oh, it's Dell. Dell's confirmed.
Dell's in net. Okay. Yeah, I don't think that changes too much. I mean, if you look over Dell's last few games, he's been giving up 6 goals, 5 goals, 3 goals, 0 in relief, and then 3 goals against. So only 904 save percentage. I do like the Flames here tonight.
Yeah, I like it. I was mostly looking at Giordano and maybe a share or 2 of that back line, and then whatever I got from Calgary 1. But you make good points. So, and taking ownership into account, I think for sure going to have Giordano in all my Calgary stacks. I think he's my highest rated defenseman tonight. So I'll be all over him, higher than Burns actually. So I'll have a bunch of Giordano, and that's really all I have for defensemen here. What about you?
Yeah, it's a good floor spot for Giordano. San Jose is very high event in general. They generate a lot of shot attempts in that, so his block floor is going to go up as well, along with his offensive upside.
All right. What about Rittich for 7,900?
He's played quite well this year, so I think I'll have some shares of him.
Yeah.
He's got that. He's going to see a lot of volume, I would expect.
I agree. Yeah. So if you can't get up to Bobrovsky, I think that he's a fine play for 7,900. Anyone else you want to mention here?
Not really. I mean, again, that second line is decent enough. I think that shapes up to be a pretty good line.
Sweet. All right. Last game, I believe. Yep. Last game of the night. Winnipeg Jets, Edmonton Oilers. 3.2 implied total for the Jets. 2.9 for the Oilers. Connor Hellebuck and Mikko Koskinen in net. McDavid skating with Ratty and Juhar Kara. Could be Lucic. Who knows what we're going to see from the Oilers. One of the beats said that they're going to try a bunch of different combos with McDavid, and maybe Draisaitl ends up there at some point. I have no clue. But the Oilers made a couple blockbuster trades yesterday. They got, I'm trying to remember who they got. They got Brandon Manning.
Manning, who has a massive feud with Connor McDavid. He hates his guy. He's the guy that put out McDavid in his rookie year. He ran him hard from behind into the boards or something.
Oh, was that when he broke his collarbone?
Yeah. And then they played again in the rematch. This is when he was on Philly. They played again in the rematch, and he was saying, like, so McDavid had defended him in the media going into that game, saying, like, I don't think he meant to do it. I don't think it was intentional. And then he says to him to the game, he's like, yeah, I effing meant to do that to you. Wow. Something to him. So he hates his guts. I'm surprised they made that trade.
What a guy. Oilers, yeah. What an organization.
Peter Chiarelli, GM of the year.
What were those trades? I mean, whatever. Petrovic is apparently going to go with Nurse tonight. So,
yeah.
I mean, whatever. He's 2,600. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's a good price. I mean, so I'd much rather take a flyer on him than on Roman Polak.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah, and to be honest, looking at Edmonton, the only guys worth playing are Draisaitl, McDavid, and Nugent Hopkins.
And they're all split up.
Yeah.
So that's fair.
But they're going to mix and match the lines. Like, these guys are all just one-off plays tonight.
Okay.
You can do a power play stack with the three of them and Nurse, something like that. I'd be cool with that.
Okay.
Beyond that, I'm not going heavy on any one of these punt options because you said they're going to try different combos. So
yeah, who knows?
There's no guarantee they stay there.
Yeah, who knows what's going to happen. So you're kind of off full Edmonton stacks altogether. Okay.
Yeah.
That's probably the smart way to go. And then heavy on Winnipeg 1 here? Or Winnipeg's top 2?
Yeah. I do like Winnipeg 1. I particularly remember Ehlers absolutely destroying the Oilers throughout his career.
Okay.
Like some of his best performances, I believe, have come against the Oilers. That's just another bias, though. So
where do you go to look at that? Is that
I just remember having watched those games.
Okay.
Yeah, I just remember those results because like Ehlers tends to be the odd man out in that line, but he's had his hat tricks and stuff against them, kind of deal. And
sure.
I think he's played quite well against them.
Yeah, they did go back to Connor at one point in that Wild game on Saturday, but it looks like they've got it listed as Ehlers still. So just be aware of that. I don't think you really have to worry about that here. And you can just play Scheifele, Wheeler, and Connor if you'd like. Connor's $400 less. But
well, you could have some Connor because of the power play correlation there.
Yeah.
I mean, in general, I love the top two lines of the Jets just as they are. I think they're both good. They're both solid plays tonight, especially given the revolving door of whatever the Oilers lines are. Each one of them can find themselves in the ideal spot.
Yep, especially with that shutdown Alex Petrovic and Brandon Manning, Adam Larson. So there's really nothing to be worried about on the Oilers from a defensive standpoint. Healthy total for the Jets on the road here. I think either of the top two lines are awesome plays. I'm going to have the most of Winnipeg 1 and try to jam them in with some other mid-tier options. No Dustin Byfuglien.
Yeah.
So right now it looks like Joe Morrow is on the top power play. I don't know if that's just pure speculation. I know it was Morrissey who filled in. That
doesn't make any sense, but I guess
it was Morrissey who filled in the last time.
Yeah, it's been Morrissey or Trouba always. One of the two.
Yeah. I mean, I'm still trying to get up to Trouba or Morrissey, but it's just the price gap. If you actually think Morrow's going to be on that top power play, it's hard not to play him, at least in a stack for 2,500. So, no chance Morrow plays on a PP. Yeah. It
seems like, right? It seems no chance. But has anyone seen that anywhere in any kind of tweet or?
I searched for it. I couldn't find it.
Yeah. You couldn't find it. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just gonna assume that's not happening.
Nolan says he couldn't find anything on that either. So
I think he's a fine, like 2,500 with Buffalo out. Maybe he bumps. Yeah. Maybe he sees more minutes in general. I'm not gonna jam him in though, just because they're thinking he's on the top power play unit there.
Yep.
Yeah. In general, like all in Jets here.
All right. I'm right there with you. That will do it for the 11 games. Lock is in just under an hour and a half, so just be aware of that. It is not a 7 p.m. Eastern lock. It is a 6 p.m. Eastern lock. That's why we started the show half an hour early to give you guys a little bit more time, give us a little bit more time. So apologies if you guys did not see this, but if you want to get up to date scheduling stuff, promo code HitTheIce will give you a free week of Osmo.com premium. You can use my projections, Osmo's rankings, the premium Slack, which is one of the best parts of the subscription. You can go into the other chats as well, other sports betting. We've got it all at Osmo.com. Anything else you want to leave the people with, Steve?
Not really. Just some of these questionable spots here. Just keep an eye on stuff before the games, guys, because you never know what's going to happen. Like Dallas, especially their lines. Keep an eye on Eichel. That's an important spot as well, whether he plays or doesn't play. And then beyond that, I'm not sure. Maybe if you have any interest in Edmonton, keep an eye on what they're doing pregame.
Yeah. Good luck, guys. I believe we'll be back on Wednesday. The show will be back at some point. I don't know who's going to be on it, but should be back Wednesday. I think there's only a couple of games tomorrow. So enjoy. Good luck.
Happy New Year, guys.